3, 2, 1.
Welcome to TSP. I'm Captain Paul, and that's my co-host, Dr. Evil Genius. What's going on there, brother?
Yeah, man. I didn't think that we would enjoy same content in certain areas. I definitely wanted to talk about this particular issue with, YouTube and certain communities within YouTube. And I know that I'm supposed to be, the liberal here, but I do enjoy
Disgusting.
a good gun channel, good gun videos, man. I really do enjoy them. And, it seems that there's an issue that a little bit of an axe to grind that you have with the way YouTube treats that community.
I mean, GunTubers, like, you have a lot of guys, right? You have Kentucky Ballistics. We just did a video on the Patreon regarding the high-speed ballistics video, which is kind of the intro to this. You got Demolition Ranch, Hickok. You have a lot of great content creators, like Grand Thumb as well. There's numerous people you can mention. And due to the nature of YouTube and its auto flag policy, it makes it impossible, or pretty much almost impossible, for people with firearm passions or firearm, communities to be profitable on YouTube and to monetize their content. We were watching the high-speed ballistics, and if you haven't, we're going to link down below in the description their original video to the backfire and then the catastrophic failure video, like the recap they did afterwards. Both are very informative videos and educational, and that's the problem I have with some of the content on the firearm community. It's not just a bunch of guys getting drunk shooting in the woods and shooting squirrels, right? Like, there's some really high produced, high quality videos that are educating people about firearms themselves. Now, do some channels have their political slant? Obviously. I mean, if you're a Democrat and a gun tuber, I mean, it doesn't go really one for one, because Democrats generally want to get rid of firearms altogether. So I understand why there's a slant. Just like in other spaces, there'll be a liberal slant, right? A lot of the great gun tubers, they don't even really talk about the politics much. They just break down the firearms, go about the science of it, and just produce high quality content. And I feel they're always under attack because they don't fall in line with certain people's worldviews. And we were talking about this on a phone call and even in the Patreon video that we released. It's kind of confusing, because if I'm an advertiser, I don't care if there's somebody against maybe something I view, maybe they're anti-Second Amendment or whatever, right? Regardless, wouldn't you want your product be introduced to millions upon millions of people? It's not like the gun tuber community is small. You have millions upon millions of people that enjoy that content. I kind of want your perspective on it. Like, why in a community that could be so profitable for YouTube, but it doesn't really matter what they do, it doesn't matter how much they censor, they're always fighting this uphill battle?
Yeah, I think that, this whole thing about cancel culture is really to blame. I think that when you have these people that have these circular arguments and these emotional reactions to everything, especially on the lefty side, and I'm on the lefty side, but I think that for a lot of these corporations, they're always under attack from the liberal left, who is always threatening to call somebody's employer, to start boycotting a product. And it's never really rationally thought out. Not never, I can't say never, but usually it's not rationally thought out. It's, I didn't like this person's message, or I don't like that person's persona, and I just want to destroy their lives, and tell their employers and threaten boycotts of certain companies, but never actually go through with it. They just want to see somebody else be destroyed, right? Cool. I mean, you look at the whole thing with Bud Light. A lot of people didn't say a whole lot. They just stopped buying the product and left the product on the shelves, right? So when the conservatives say that they're going to do something, they get it done. But on the lefty side, it just seems like these corporations are so much more afraid of the lefties, and their boycott efforts usually fall completely flat, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So why would you care where your product is showing up? Those are people too, and they have money too. And if your job is to turn a profit, then you really shouldn't care where your ads show up on. It's not like you say, I want my product with that content. You just accept that this is the internet, and you still want your product shown wherever anybody is on the internet. That's just my perspective.
So, and this is the crazy thing to me, right? Because I think you're 100% correct. When it comes to liberals and their boycotts, they generally fall flat. Whereas conservatives with their boycott, I mean, we saw what happened with Bud Light. We saw what happened. I mean, conservatives are far more, I would say, stringent regarding their boycotts. And if they have a brand that is willing to support them and embrace them, they wholeheartedly buy into it. They just do. That is just, I've noticed that as a massive philosophical difference between liberals and conservatives. Liberals, if you ride with them, like, oh, cool, that's neat, and maybe you'll get some type of support. Where conservatives, they're gonna, generally, and I'm speaking generalities, they will fully commit, fully buy in, and maybe buy like a 10-year subscription if you're gonna, support them in their belief system, right?
Right. You know what's really funny, Cap?
What's that?
What you just said just blew my mind when I thought of this really ugly fact. Liberals will threaten a boycott against a company that they didn't even patronize to begin with.
Yeah.
Like the company will literally lose 0 customers if this small band of, liberal SJWs banging away on their keyboards, they weren't buying their product anyway.
Yep. And whereas in a situation like Bud Light, where a lot of, people drink beer, a lot of conservatives drink beer, I mean, everyone drinks beer, they got hit pretty damn hard. I mean, just to kind of, I would say...
Not everyone. I don't.
I mean, I know. I mean, you're weird. But I think when it kind of comes down to it is that... I'm just saying, for the general population, most people drink beer, right? I'm not saying every day be a daily drinker, but like the occasional beer every once in a while. I mean, they're just... To me, the GunTuber space, when you have a lot of education, a lot of good videos, a lot of good content, millions upon millions of people watching this, I don't think they need to go through a lot of the bullshit that they do just to produce good, high quality content. I think YouTube's got to do better by that community. And I feel if YouTube actually embraced the gun community, right? We're not saying like, show a bunch of wild violence, but like embrace the educational things, they could probably even prosper even more than they are now. But that's just my personal opinion.
Now I got to give YouTube a little bit of credit, Cap. I stumbled upon a gun YouTubers channel because of other searches, so they did present them to me, and if I watch one gun YouTuber, they will then present me with another one and another one, which is how I found out about Kentucky Ballistics. I found out about Kentucky Ballistics through Demolition Ranch. Right. And I found out about Garantham after watching Kentucky Ballistics channel, or if I watched something that was like, let's say, related to John Wick, which is like my favorite movie series. So they will show you YouTubers that have done things that are John Wick related. So I got to give them at least that credit.
I mean, but that's more, and I guess this would be my only pushback, right? I get what you're saying and I agree, right? If in the algorithm, if you watch a certain type of content, similar content will be pushed to you. That's just how YouTube works overall. I'm saying more the monetization side of things, where everything is so restrictive, where you can't like reload a gun on camera, quote unquote, and like the guidelines they've had in the past and even currently have just been beyond ridiculous and make it essentially kind of impossible to prosper on YouTube as if you're not already established. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think of the GunTuber community? Do you believe they're a little bit, I would say, ostracized, or do you think everything's all fine in the world of YouTube? So I'm Captain Paul, that's Dr. Evil Genius, and we'll see you in the next one.